So I got these twin cam heads all cleaned up. These are the later castings, 6 and up stuff, with the 7mm valve stems and valves. So getting ready to do some porting on these things and just looking over the ports and what they did. And surprisingly, these are quite a bit better than normal. So Harley evidently got their head out of their ass. And got some engineers that knew actually do some hot rod stuff, and got the ports looking halfway decent, these things. They must have had some Beal engineers working on this, because they look pretty good. So this here is an earlier twin cam head over here. This is when I opened up the bowls in it, but I haven't done anything else on porting yet. And you can see how they are different. These up here we can kind of see them the same. So you can see how that port's pretty well equal and flows around real nicely. And you look at this thing here, it's all plugged up, and so you can barely see out of the valve. Even though I cut the bowl way out, you can hardly see out of it. This one here you can see almost halfway around that valve already. And that's stock. So these are really constipated. You can see how the clearance right around the valve guide right there on the right side is really plugged up. See how this one's all wide open all through there? A lot better. That's what you do to these ones to make them run better. You have a big wall right in here that you cut this whole thing out. And that's what this is, cut out. So this used to be a lot of work doing all this stuff. A lot better now. So this here is a divider here. I just set this up in here. You stick it up in the port to see the size is more average size than it is. And this one here is just lightly rubbing everywhere. So you come up in here into this port. And you do the same thing. You stick it up in there. And this one here is all loose up in here. You can see the gap up in there on the sides of it. But it has a lot of clearance up in there because it's a lot bigger. So definitely an improvement. So these don't have nearly as much work to do. You can see how much bigger the port is. That's a 2-finger. And this one here, it's tight 2-finger. Same thing in here, just a lot of clearance. So you can see how much the scribe line is on this one to cut out. So this one here, the scribe line is almost nothing to cut out. Blow it up a little bit, you might be able to see it a little better. See the scribe line right here. Same scribe line on this one. You can see it's an 1/8 inch cut all the way around or bigger. 3/16 over here. This one here, you barely take any out of it. The antenna. The other thing they did differently was also that the short side up under here, which is right up where my finger is, it's this part right in here. Most of the time they don't go in square, they kind of make a turn underneath. Instead of going in nice and even like this, they turn underneath there and put a dog leg in it. So it makes the port very unequal. If you look at this one, see it's nice and equal up under here. See, it's equally cut on both sides in here. Look at it from this side, it's a nice even port all the way around. It just sweeps right around like you want. So this port here has already basically had a nice port job done to it. Stock. The intake port, same thing. It's opened up. It's like an old Evo port, fairly good size. But it's nice and even again. You know, your fingers just flow right around in here. Both fingers, plenty of room to flow all the way underneath. Whereas these ones here, they're real tight up into here. Like I said, this one's been cut way out, so it's kind of an illusion, but they're really tight up under there. So this is your other head here, and same thing. It just, your fingers just flow right through here like that. That's how the air comes through, so you want to have a nice, good flow. So these are the same thing, nice equal. So, anyway, very nice heads to start with. These aren't going to take a lot of work to make them run pretty damn nice. And the castings, I don't know if you can tell, but they're a lot smoother. It's almost like this one's been sanded on already, but it hasn't been. It's stock. Over here you can see how much rough this texture is right in here. It's very uneven. A lot of high spots. This is Well, if his thumbnail doesn't even catch it. Over here, here's the thumbnail catching on it. So the ports are a lot smoother, straighter. Overall design, big improvements. Any upgrade to an older twin cam, put lighter heads on it. Big time improvement. Okay, now this head over here is the older Hot Rod twin cam. Get that one out of the way. This is your HT CC. I think that's what they call it. Anyway, it's a pile of crap. These were made in the early 2000s. You can see how they put a D-shaped exhaust port in here. See how uneven it is right there? So you can't even see this finger. This one's open. That's what I was talking about being uneven. See how this one here, finger on this side and this side is almost equal. It's nice and even up under there. This one's very uneven. This is how most heads are usually made, which is crap. So the new head's made really nice. The intake ports, they went to this D pattern again. I don't care what you do, there ain't no way this little chicken shit hole right here is going to flow anywhere near the air this one's going to flow. So they had a real nice theory, but like most things they did back then, it didn't do work. You can also see the big step they had in here between the seat and the port. They put a big oversized valve in here and a big seat, and they run a stock port. They failed to cut the rest of the port out when they put the big seat in there. Stupid. So you gotta go in here and cut this all out to make it flow anything. So it's just a crappy design. It does have a nice deep bowl in here, where these ones here is filled in all through here more. You can see how I go in there and cut this out with my cutter. Now that's going to hurt your low end, but it helps your top end, so it's a trade-off. So they also got a lot of lips in here. The seats are sticking up. The seat sticks above the aluminum, so there's big lips, so the air doesn't want to flow. These ones here, the aluminum's above the seat, so you can dress this in and make it real nice and smooth. Just like this one here, when I cut this thing bigger, you barely touch the aluminum, makes a nice even finish. So this one here, you got these big lips sticking up all over the place. That causes hot spots, which causes detonation, bad flow. All the normal stuff Harley used to do, crappy cord. So, anyway, these things are just pure crap. And they ran this goofy looking piston here. I don't know what they expected to get flame travel out of this thing here, but how can you flame travel inside of a damn hole with big sharp uneven edges? Yeah, they're trying to squish it right here on the side, but I don't know, the theory doesn't follow what they're trying to do. They're squishing everything in the middle here, but the middle is so big it's not really doing much for you. Now, how are you going to burn when you got such an uneven finish? So, more crap. So this here's a lot better design where it squishes from the side, better flame travel, goes in a common bowl, runs good. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up, get ready to do some, probably go to the valve guides, I guess is what I'm going to do on this. So I got my new valves right here. These are oversized valves. So, I'll do this with one hand, but you can see these are oversized. These are 1/900. These are 1/805. The exhaust is 1/630, I think what they claim. And these are 1 in 560. So these are going to go bigger also. So hard to hold these together with tulip, but they're going to be bigger also. So these are a nice flow design up under the valve head here, so the air will flow really good. These here are a lot better than the old valves used to be too. Everything they do on these new motors is a lot better than the old motors. So, but compared to what the aftermarket does, the aftermarket's better yet. So I'm going to go ahead and open these throats up like I did on this head, and then I'll go and start blending this all in, but first I got to put the new guides in there, get them all centered up and honed and all that stuff. So I'll just show you as I go here a little bit.